Ram could be potentially running out of ideas, because this next update that they've added to their arsenal, because remember, they're supposed to be doing a bunch of updates between now and the next 18, or I can't remember how many months now, but I remember them doing an article saying they have a lot of stuff coming. The last video I did on the Lunar Edition for the Rebel and the Power Wagon, they've already done that. And this next package is basically something that they've already done. They're basically resurrecting it. So we're going to read this article on Mopar Insiders. I want you guys to kind of get a feel for what it is. But if I were Ram right now, we do know that off-road is in. And there's so much potential that they have with this truck right here. We're going to talk about it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Let's jump into this video. So the title is The Ram 1500 Backcountry is Back for 2026. Anybody want to say hooray? Ram is bringing back one of its more understated off-road packages for the 2026 model year. After a brief absence, the Ram 1500 Backcountry returns once again, giving buyers a rugged-looking, trail-capable pickup that sits comfortably between the Warlock and Rebel trims in the lineup. First introduced for the 2022 model year, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't know this existed. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I had no clue it was there. The Backcountry package was designed to take the popular Ram 1500 Bighorn and give it a tougher, more adventurous personality without stepping all the way up to the more expensive Rebel. For 2026, Ram has revived the concept with updated powertrain choices and a few tweaks, but the formula remains largely the same: a Bighorn-based truck with real off-road capability and distinctive blacked out styling. Blacked out is still in. I know a lot of people complain about it, but whenever I see these leftover 2025s and 2024s, they have chrome bumpers. This time around, the Backcountry package is available only on the Ram 1500 Bighorn crew cab, so they won't do it for the quad cab. And there will be two powertrain options. So the first one being the 3-liter Hurricane. It's the standard output. It's going to have 420 horsepower, 469 pound-feet of torque. And obviously, with the return of the Hemi, the 5.7 is now back with this Backcountry package. Now, this engine is considered an upgrade. 395 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. But there's no replacement for displacement, right? So that is going to have the stop-start function, and it is considered a mild hybrid. Now, the good news is both engines will continue to use the 8HP 75 transmission made by ZF. Now, it does say here the Backcountry package isn't just about engine choices. It also adds a number of upgrades to improve off-road. So it does have a 1-inch suspension lift, paired with some heavy-duty shocks that help the truck handle rough terrain more confidently. So it should give it a more softer ride on the highway. It also includes some skid plates underneath, and additional functional upgrades include front tow hooks, a rear locker, and a select speed off-road cruise control. So that's nice, which allows the driver to maintain a steady speed when crawling over difficult terrain. However, it's just going to have 32-inch tall tires. The Backcountry is a really cool package. If you do want something a little bit more fun, some people lease their trucks, right? And if you're someone that has had a Bighorn like this, maybe you do want something a little bit more rugged. So this might fill the gap for some people who want just a little bit more than the Warlock, but don't want to spend $78,000 for a Rebel. Now, granted, the Rebel doesn't start at that price, but they typically come to the dealership that way. Now, I did see that it will have this style wheel, and it's just going to be black out. Also, it's going to have the black bumpers front and rear, so it's going to have a more rugged look too. Now, let me see if I can find a Rebel so you guys can see the window sticker here. I want to show you guys that base price, because I'm going to show you the pricing online really quickly. There is no Warlock here, and the Warlocks, they're really hard to find too. Okay, so that one doesn't have a window sticker in the window. I don't have any keys today, and I don't feel like going to get them. So right over here, they do have this really nice Canyon Lake Rebel, and what do you know? Window sticker right there. This is a really nice truck. has a sport performance hood. You guys see it does have a more aggressive bumper. I'm willing to bet you the Backcountry is going to probably have something similar to this with the black recovery hooks, okay? But this has just more aggressive styling, and I do like this bumper too. They should make it an option maybe for the Backcountry. Now, base price, hopefully you guys see that. If not, $64,445. And with all the options on this truck, it's $78,170. Now, you guys do know, oh, this one's open. You can deck these trucks out a good bit. The only thing is missing is that twin panel roof, but it does have the 14.5-inch display. It has the passenger screen on this side. You guys see that Rebel badge right there. And it has the dual chargers. Now, you cannot get leather with that Bighorn package. However, if you get the Backcountry, they do give you an upgraded material. So let's keep reading that article because I want you guys to see the pricing on it as well. Now, as I mentioned, it will have a lower body black painted section, including the bumpers. The wheels I showed you earlier in this video, they're going to be satin black basically. And then from there, it's going to have a body color grille surround, which will pretty much help a lot, like to make it not look so much like a base model truck too. I like that. Now, as far as the interior goes, this is what's nice about this truck is it's going to have like a black vinyl seat. So if you are someone who does get dirty, this will help a lot with that. It's going to have the all-weather floor mats. It's going to have the MOLLE strips on the back of the seats, for the front seat that is. And then that's pretty much it. Now, as far as the pricing goes, they're saying this package is going to be about $2,995, and you can get it with either the level 1 or level 2. So if you're on a budget, that should help a little bit. And based off of this, they're saying configured with the package, the Backcountry starts around $62,410, including destination, which is $4,630 less than the Rebel. Now, just remember, you don't get this really nice sport performance hood, although I will say this sport performance hood might be an option too in this truck. Sometimes they will package this with that level 1 equipment group. So that's the negative thing about Ram trucks is sometimes you have to really go through each option because, yeah, you might get really angry if you order a truck with no options on it and then you see, oh, that was an option, that was an option, oh, this was an option too. So yeah, but I don't see that it is listed under this level 2 equipment group, but just do your research. Now, here's the last thing I want to say, and I'll end off this video. Ram has not played their best card. The Lunar Edition in this Backcountry is just nothing to really be excited about. I almost didn't want to do a video on this because it's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. We all know that Ram has not played their best card. All they have to do is 6.4 liter Hemi, the Rebel, because you guys do know you cannot get the 5.7 with the Rebel. I'm not sure why they did that. And I will say this has more horsepower and torque, as you just heard, 420 horsepower, 469 pound-feet of torque versus 395 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. Now, I have this Ram 2500 here that has the 6.4 liter Hemi. If I were in the market for a half-ton truck and they had the 6.4 liter available, and I think the Rebel would be the perfect truck to put it in too, right? Now, it couldn't be the one in the HDs because this engine is, I won't call it detuned, but it does have a little less horsepower than I would like to see for the half tons. But I guess some people would venture to say, well, then they would have to raise the horsepower for this, and I don't think so because this engine is purpose built for towing. It is different from what you see inside the Chargers and even like the Jeep Grand Cherokees. But yeah, in this configuration, it has 405 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. I think this would be more than enough to get a lot of excitement for the Ram segment, especially for the Rebel and for, where's it at? For this guy over here, the RHO. We all know that they're bringing back the SRT TRX. So funny that they changed the name a little bit. So, but yeah, right here, they could even squeeze that 6.4 liter Hemi in this guy here. Now, my humble opinion is I would still probably get the high output engine, because this beast here is really fast, so much fun to drive, and you have a little bit more potential on this engine too, because you don't have cylinder deactivation and EGR and things like that. But let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section. Are you guys excited about this Backcountry package? I think for some people who do buy Bighorn, as I said, if you're leasing a truck and you want something a little different, that Backcountry package might be the ticket for you. And you get the standard output Hurricane, or if you want to go back to the 5.7, or you currently have a lease now and you have a 5.7, you could just step up to that truck there. But again, if this is Ram's way of bringing new exciting things to the market, this is not it. I think that they need to do a little bit better, and the 6.4 liter is their ticket. Play your best card. Stop sleeping on it.